Chats. I'm Tandra.
I'm Dee Dee.
And this is Annabeth. And here we talk about pretty much anything and everything related to sci-fi and fantasy related. And today we're doing one on different Star Wars theories about the
Last Jedi is coming out. We decided to do this since, May the 4th is coming up. And, of course, we're huge Star Wars fans, so, of course, we have to do something for May the 4th. Now, we're going to bring up 3 different theories that really intrigued us and we would like to, elaborate with you guys on. Now, the first one, actually, this theory came up on the Super Carlton Brothers vlog. We'll link you to the video so you can go ahead and watch that. But he brought up an interesting point or idea that Captain Phasma may actually be a double agent and be working with the Resistance. Now, the main reason he brought this up is because of 2 really key points. He brings up others, but you can go ahead and watch his video for that. But the 2 key points that kind of sold me on the idea was one of the first scenes she's in when her troops, and Kylo Ren are attacking the village on Jakku. And she goes to Kylo Ren and she says, "Sir, what about the villagers?" Now, at first, that doesn't seem very odd. She's just addressing somebody who's, might be higher up than her in the First Order. What do you want to do with the villagers? But it kind of seems odd when you think about it that she would even ask him, because it's apparent that they don't really care about killing the villagers.
Yeah, they'd already come out blazing to kill anybody.
And they had already killed quite a few people, but she, gives Kylo Ren the chance to say something like, "Oh, they don't matter to us anymore, leave them." So she still leaves the option open that some people may survive in this. And, of course, when Kylo Ren says, "kill them," of course, she can't defy his orders. So that might be a little bit more of the, no, she's probably still evil route. But, it's still interesting to think about. She left the idea open that maybe some people in the village could have survived. Now, the other thing that even I thought was really weird when watching the movie was towards the end when Finn and Han are trying to get the defenses lowered on Starkiller Base. They kidnap Phasma and try to force her to lower the shields, and she does it. I mean, without pretty much any, negotiating or, interrogation or what have you, she pretty much just kind of doesn't put up much of a fight at all.
And the argument he makes about this is either she's going to help him or die. But if she helps him, she's probably going to die anyway.
Because they're obviously there to destroy Starkiller Base, so she's not going to have much chance to flee.
So not only is she going to die in both scenarios, but also the base is going to die if she does it. So if she was not on the rebel side, you would think
that she would have just died for the cause,
right.
Or not even just for the cause, just because the scenario of her dying and maybe still saving Starkiller Base is the better of the 2 options, where both of them she dies in.
Well, and she is like a head stormtrooper person, and the stormtroopers,
they're taught to be loyal to a fault. Like they
die for the Empire all the time.
They are loyal till the day they die in the First Order, with the exception of people who just happen to defect, like Finn and them,
which aren't going to be very.
But if she was able to climb the ranks, that she is very loyal to the First Order.
So the fact that she just gave it up and said sure, whatever, was kind of odd. But so we'll see.
Yeah, I actually really like the idea that she's kind of a double agent, because I am really worried that they're going to underuse this character. I was pretty excited to have a cool-looking chrome stormtrooper that was played by the same girl who was in Game of Thrones, and I was really kind of excited about the idea of having her, and then they just kind of underused her, and I was like, well, okay then.
Yeah, so let's hope they do something cool with her in the next movies.
Well, and for those of you who say, well, no, she died on Starkiller Base in Force Awakens, you're actually wrong, because she is not only in the trailer for The Last Jedi, but she has been confirmed for the cast in Last Jedi.
So obviously she's coming around, so we'll see what happens. Now, the next one is about Rey's parentage.
And we all know that is a heavily debated thing.
Has been talked about
since before Force Awakens
came out. There's been several different theories. There's one that she's Han and Leia's daughter, one that she's Luke's daughter, one that she's Emperor Palpatine's daughter or granddaughter. And then there's another one about she is Ben Kenobi's daughter or granddaughter.
We actually probably like that theory the best, the Rey Kenobi theory. This was actually a theory that I didn't really delve into very much early on. I saw that some people were theorizing about it, but I was just kind of like, yeah, she's probably Luke's daughter, so I never really looked into it. But once I actually decided to, people bring up some interesting points.
Well, and it's probably my favorite theory, because if you talk about her being Han and Leia's daughter, it's like,
Doesn't make sense to me that they would leave her on Jakku.
Right. And
period.
to be Luke's daughter, he would have to not know about her for it to work.
Again, with the whole Luke and Leia thing, is that why would he leave her on Jakku?
Yeah, they wouldn't leave her. And then Emperor Palpatine, I just don't want that at all.
I just don't like the idea of Rey being connected to that
dark side of the Force. Yeah, that just, not so good. So this one about her being related to Ben Kenobi, I really like that theory.
Not only do I really like the theory of strengthening the ties between Skywalkers and Kenobis, but I really like some of the points that people brought up, that there are some interesting parallels between Kenobi and Rey. One of them that people brought up, and they actually bring up things like this to argue that she's Luke's daughter, is origins, or, time periods of their lives that mirror each other. They really say that, Rey's time on Jakku mirrors Luke's time on Tatooine, but really they kind of don't. Yeah, they're both kind of desolate planets, but Rey is completely alone without any support system, having to fend for herself, having pretty much gruel for dinner every night, and days kind of blurring together.
No friend. She's very much a hermit-like character.
Very hermit-like character. Even has her, home away from the town.
Right.
Whereas Luke, yeah, it was a deserty planet, but he had
friends,
family. He had a fairly normal life. I mean, yeah, it was on Tatooine, but for Tatooine, that was a fairly normal standard life. But when you look at Kenobi and the time he spent on Tatooine, he was a hermit. He was by himself off in the desert, didn't talk to people, very isolated. His days would have blurred together very easily. He would have had, not very good food, gruel for most of his meals.
Right.
So that was an interesting mirror.
They also said that they showed the parallel between her being very stoic and
whereas the Skywalkers, especially the men, tend to be kind of whiny and emotionally unstable.
The women don't, but the men definitely do.
Right, but the Kenobis are always very balanced. They are very connected with their Force and use the Force to balance them out, and they're very, serene characters.
And probably my favorite part about this theory is the balance between Kenobi
training Anakin, somebody who turned to the dark side, who had promised to be in the light side, and him also training Luke, who brought balance back to the Force.
And then now we've got Luke, who trained Kylo Ren, who went to the dark side, and now going to be training Rey, who hopefully will stay on the...
Hopefully she'll stay on the dark side.
Stay on the light side, and then she is going to... And so just the whole balance of the... and they also brought up the theory of the lightsabers in the vision as well.
Right. In Rey's vision, when she touches Luke Skywalker's saber, there's a scene where she sees Kylo Ren and the Knights of Ren attacking some people. We don't know who they are necessarily. And there's a scene where people think that he may be holding another person's lightsaber, and they think it might be Kenobi's. Now, in that vision, it's kind of odd because we see Ren for a minute, he's looking almost dazed, and then he looks up, sees Rey in the vision, and starts walking towards her. Now, some people think that is actually Rey having a vision of Kylo Ren having a vision.
Which is kind of... And it's interesting that she would touch Luke Skywalker, he would touch Kenobi Skywalker.
And they would have a vision about each other.
Yeah, so that's kind of an interesting little cross theory as well. So I like the idea of her being a Kenobi. I think that would really pay off well for her being related to somebody.
Not to mention, both of their Force sensitivity tricks seem to be the mind trick.
Right.
Because Rey seemed to grasp that very easily.
And she did it very well, and Kenobi obviously had that.
Who did we first see using the Jedi mind trick? Kenobi.
Well, and the other people, and they brought up the other people we see using it, either use it on people that can't be influenced,
or they're not very good at it. I mean, they seem to kind of struggle with it a little bit. So that's another interesting point.
Probably my least favorite theory about her parentage is that her parents were nobodies that just left her there. And
that is actually growing in popularity as this new movie is approaching.
And
I
that's
think.
my least favorite.
And I get where people are bringing it up that, you know, Disney would want to have somebody from no background, no special background to come into this power and be awesome and, you know, teach people that you can be that and not have to have any type of familial ties. But it just seems kind of un-Star Wars-ish to me.
For her not to be related. Well, and also, that goes into our next theory we're going to talk about, is that they could actually accomplish this with Finn's character.
Now, I really like the idea that Finn is also Force sensitive. Some people don't really like that idea because they're like, they wouldn't have two of the main three be Force sensitive. But you know,
that
were. Yeah, and I mean, she didn't really show a lot of her Force potential.
And he may not show a ton either. We don't know.
Right, but that also worked, sort of, in the prequel series with Kenobi and Anakin.
Right.
That dynamic still worked. And to me, it just seems like Finn seemed to grasp using a lightsaber a little bit too easily. Yes, non-Force sensitive people can ignite lightsabers and hold them, but
to use them proficiently like he did in so many battles
with no other training in that type of weapon, and to have him not seriously maim himself.
Plus he struck a blow at Kylo Ren, who was an exceptionally good lightsaber user. He also, like, in one scene chose a lightsaber over the blaster, which...
Right. Now, he does make comments of, don't you people ever use blasters or stuff like that, but, you know, he's been trained to use blasters his entire life, so it makes sense that he still thinks that, but on instinct, he would choose the lightsaber over the blaster.
Well, and I just really feel like it's fairly obvious that he is Force sensitive, just
his
based
connection
on...
with Rey makes even more sense. I mean, he seems to be almost just drawn to her.
Right. And he chooses to go against his stormtrooper training. Kylo Ren does turn to him right after that point and kind of look at him like he sensed something in him.
That could be argued that he just senses a disobedient stormtrooper.
He could, but the way he
that's
looked
what
at
I assumed when I first saw it. But I kind of like the idea that no,
he's sensing something in the Force now.
He's sensing something in the Force, and he turns towards a stormtrooper, and he's like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I kind of like that idea.
Feeling the Force here somewhere. What's up with that? And that makes sense to me, too. So I think that could be really cool. And he doesn't have to be related to any main characters.
No, he doesn't. I mean, I actually
think
think it would be better if he isn't related to anybody in the previous movies.
Right.
Unlike Rey, that would not be a letdown for me, and I think a lot of fans would probably agree.
Yeah, so I think that would work out really good. So why don't you guys tell us your thoughts and theories and what you think about
Tell us if you guys like these theories, or if you have other favorites out there. Tell us how excited you are to see if any of these theories are true in the next movie, or just leave us any general suggestions.
And please give us a thumbs up and subscribe and tell all your friends, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.